Welcome to AC 24/7 Top Story Countdown. I'm Aaron Dean. Right now, I'm here to guide you through the biggest stories of the day. Here's our pick for number 4.
The Marx Brothers and Jerry Lewis and Laurel and Hardy.
Icons all, and now so is Adam Sandler. The comic actor is set to receive the People's Icon Award at this year's People's Choice Awards. He'll be honored at the award ceremony April 18th. Dead & Company lives again at Sphere. The Grateful Dead offshoot band, which wrapped its final tour last year, has announced 3 shows a week for 6 weeks at Sphere in Las Vegas, with a unique set list each week. The shows begin May 16th. More info and ticket options at deadandcompany.com.
I want all assets on them now. I need her to write the next chapter.
Argylle co-star Bryan Cranston says even in a big fun action movie, building a character is essential.
You're starting to spin that dial, and it can grow larger or more subtle and nuanced. Look at the way I'm. You see? Notice this?
Just
it's connected to my body.
Yes,
see?
all in tune.
Yeah. And that's what I do on the set, and it annoys everybody. Do you want it high, bigger, lower?
Argylle is now in theaters. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
The Advocate Channel looks at the world through the lens of equality, community, hope, and inclusion. AC 24/7's Top Story Countdown continues with our producer's pick for number 3.
Reprehensible. Cowards.
Frustrations are high at the NYPD after 2 of their own were violently attacked near Times Square this past Saturday. Authorities say the 2 officers were attempting to make an arrest while responding to a disorderly group outside a migrant shelter in Midtown. That's when several suspects began punching and kicking the officers. The beating was captured by a street camera and released by the department's Crime Stoppers unit.
If they're not afraid to assault the police officer, they're not going to be afraid to assault somebody else.
Both officers were treated for minor injuries, and at least 7 people were arrested after the attack. They face an array of charges, including assault on a police officer, gang assault, robbery, and disorderly conduct. But according to a criminal complaint, those charged have been released without bail as the investigation continues.
I'm not satisfied with that at all. I'm looking to judges and prosecutors to do the right thing.
Prosecuting the suspects will be the job of the Manhattan District Attorney. A statement from that office condemned any violence against police officers, adding that it's paramount every person responsible for this attack is conclusively identified. But the head of New York's police union and the chief of police patrol both say the problem is much broader than this one heinous attack.
Across this entire city, individuals are not afraid of consequences.
There's no consequences, and we must change this. End of story.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
The Advocate Channel is now streaming live on Amazon Prime in the News app. Watch us there or go to advocatechannel.com. AC 24/7 continues with today's top 2 pick.
Memories.
Wow.
Pack the halls of this nearly century-old schoolhouse.
Miss Radcliffe, this was her side, and that was a hallway, and the window was not there.
Now in their 70s and 80s, these former students walk us through the ruins of their school.
This was the entranceway.
It may not look pretty.
All of this was desks.
But this dilapidated structure stands tall in the pages of not only Black, but American history.
Just to think that a lot of people and children don't know how it was and how important education can be.
A unique partnership between Booker T. Washington, a former slave and Black education pioneer, and Julius Rosenwald, a first-generation Jewish-American philanthropist, led to the construction of nearly 5,000 Rosenwald schoolhouses throughout the Jim Crow South. The state-of-the-art schools, a major force in improving the quality of education for Black children. By 1928, 1 in every 5 rural schools in the South was a Rosenwald school.
It's a place of community, and it bridged the gap for African Americans during a time when separate was definitely not equal.
The schools not only revolutionized Black education in the South, but alumni like Maya Angelou and the late Congressman John Lewis went on to make their own mark in the history books. But when the Supreme Court ruled separate but equal education was unconstitutional in 1954, Rosenwald schools slowly became obsolete. Only 10% of them still stand. Located about 30 minutes outside of Nashville, Lee Buckner is the last surviving Rosenwald school in the region.
This little box sitting here on the side of the road, it might not mean a lot to a lot of people when they ride by. I always would come by and hope that it wouldn't just sit here and fall down.
And it was special to these former students, when a day of missed class, helping their parents work, was a sad one.
All of you guys worked the tobacco field?
Yes.
Yes.
After years of planning, the Heritage Foundation of Williamson County is restoring the one-room schoolhouse. Lee Buckner will be relocated to downtown Franklin.
I think that we can have a better future if we understand even the difficult parts of our past.
Crafted to be a springboard to a better future and home. To those who walked its hallways.
I don't want them to forget where we came from. We didn't have a lot, but we had teachers who cared.
The Advocate Channel is your news source for news, entertainment, and trending stories. We're highlighting the advocates in our community. We have now arrived at our #1 story of the day. Take a look.
It's like the two old white guys duking it out.
Reverend Charles Williams is bracing for a rematch between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, exhausted at the notion of a 9-month battle for the White House.
Some may feel I don't have any hope in a Donald Trump, or I don't have a hope in a Joe Biden.
As pastor of King Solomon Baptist Church in Detroit, Williams was on the front lines of soaring turnout among black voters 4 years ago. He believes Biden can't win re-election through fear of Trump alone.
It's almost like your big brother or your big sister saying, the boogeyman is under the bed, the boogeyman is under the bed. Sooner or later you figure, is it really a boogeyman? You realize maybe this guy ain't the boogeyman.
One of the biggest tests facing the president is piecing together a vast fraying coalition, particularly in Michigan. Trump carried the state in 2016, along with Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, but Biden flipped all three in 2020, a blue wall that led to victory.
Ceasefire now!
His challenges are complicated by anger among Muslims and Arab Americans over the Israel-Hamas war, made clear by relentless protests, including as the president visited Michigan.
He's just not somebody that I can trust.
Adam Abu Salah worked as a field organizer for the Biden campaign 4 years ago. He said he will not vote for the president again, seeing him as complicit in deaths of innocent Palestinians.
By taking this stand, do you wonder if it will help elect Donald Trump?
It probably will. We have seen 4 years of Trump, we have seen 4 years of Biden, and people don't really see a difference between their presidency.
It was nearly 4 years ago when Biden pointedly presented himself as a bridge to the future.
Look, I view myself as a bridge, not as anything else. There's an entire generation of leaders you saw stand behind me. They are the future of this country. They're the people who are going to...
Those cheers rang out in the gymnasium of Detroit's Renaissance High, where these students are now following the presidential race.
I don't feel like he represents the young voter demographic at all.
It's the first time Imani Williams and her friends can vote. Dante Parker said a vote for Biden is hardly guaranteed.
We've been stuck in this system for far too long. Maybe we need to venture outside of it to really make some progress now.
The Biden campaign tells CNN it will draw sharp distinctions with Trump and earn the support of voters concerned about their rights, their pocketbooks, and our democracy.
We are not happy with Biden, but we understand that the other option is not an option that's favorable to us.
Norman Clement said voters are eager to hear what Biden would do in a second term, not simply what he's done or tried to do.
Are you more worried about people voting for Trump or more worried about young voters and others not voting at all?
I'm worried about the protest vote. My message to them is that we did that in 2016. We held our vote. Folks didn't come out.
That's today's countdown. Download the Advocate Channel app on your phone or smart TV. We're also one of Fire TV's newest free live channels. There's more news and entertainment coming up after this break.